Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Hell's Gate Podcast. I am Dominick Panetta.
And I am Anthony Militello.
After our semi-successful release of the first episode, it just dropped today on SoundCloud at midnight. We haven't gotten it uploaded to YouTube yet, but we are
working on that currently as we are sitting here. So
YouTube's
we will get
given
that very
us
soon.
A lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So we're going to get it uploaded as soon as we can after we record this podcast.
Yep.
Like I said, just dropped today. First episode, go check it out. And if you're already listening to this, you probably listened to the first episode. But if not, go check it out. It's pretty good for a first episode.
And tell your friends. Tell every single solitary person you know.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that.
That'd be fantastic.
So let's kick right off into things here with Kareem Hunt. Get it? Kick.
Kick things off. Hilarious.
On a serious note, though, with that is ridiculous. These NFL players really need to find it in themselves to stop harming women. I don't know how it's this hard to stop harming women. But it's really ridiculous, especially with him, because that was on video, and then he didn't tell anybody about it and lied about it. Like, it's just something needs to be done by the NFL.
I mean, they need to take further action. They, honestly, in my opinion, that situation wasn't quite as bad as a lot of the other situations that just go right under the radar.
Agreed.
I'm not condoning the actions of Kareem Hunt. I'm not
at all.
defending them at all. I'm just briefly touching on the fact that there are much more heinous crimes. If you've watched the video, which I have, you will see that he pushes his friend into this 19-year-old woman, girl. She was apparently pretty lit up. She was pretty drunk. Not that matters, but she punched him in the face, and then he pushed his friend into her and knocked her over. And then when she was going to get up, he went and I don't want to use the word kicked because I don't really think it was a kick, but he at least forcefully pushed her over with his foot, which is still ridiculous that you're a grown man and you're pushing people over with your foot trying to get up off the ground, especially a woman, a 19-year-old girl.
They need to learn how to contain themselves to not do this. See, I get what you're saying here, because there is a lot of stuff that goes under the radar where men are physically punching women in the face. It just happens to be that this one is on video, so obviously it's going to get the mainstream attention for that. Yeah. And it's sad that there is it's the harsh reality of the sorry, I can't speak. It is the harsh reality of the NFL that there are many, many players in this league that are abusers, that are assaulters, that hit women, and it's the NFL just can't do anything about it, and then they need to make the punishment
much worse. I agree. Worse. Yes. And I'd like to address that this starts young with athletes, prodigy athletes, and everyone in the NFL was a prodigy athlete. They were good in high school. They were good in middle school. They were good in college.
Yeah.
Everything with them gets brushed under the radar. And you experienced this. You were a great athlete in your high school.
Oh yeah.
And you could do no wrong.
I was a monster.
From what I understand.
I was an absolute beast.
That is a huge problem. We need to stop treating star athletes like they're on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Regardless of if they are or not.
I can attest to that, because luckily I didn't let it get to my head, even though I talk like it does and I act all cocky to people about sports, but I never let that stuff get to my head. I would always talk to everybody as they were equal, and that's how it should be. And because of how this goes in high schools and colleges, these guys are put on a pedestal, like you said. So they think that they're the greatest person in the world, and it gets to their head. Yeah, and then when stuff like this happens, they think it's okay to just punch a girl in the face, and it's ridiculous.
That's just what I was about to say is you're a good dude. And if you weren't a good dude, a lot of people just think they can do no wrong and they can get away with anything, and a lot of times they can. And we need to stop treating people like that.
So let me ask you this though, Mr. Panetta.
Okay, I'm ready.
If you're an NFL owner, like a coach, whatever,
yeah.
Would you re-sign a guy like, say, Kareem Hunt, who did that but came out and apologized for it? It doesn't justify his actions in any way, shape, or form. But after all that stuff, would you go and sign a guy within a week of this happening?
Absolutely not. First of all, I understand allegations happen, false allegations, I should say.
All the time, yeah.
That these men are rich, and women are just trying. Some women try to leech on, and this is for successful women as well. If I had an opportunity to marry Oprah and take half her money, I totally would. But
no doubt.
And I consider myself not a terrible person. I may be, but I
everyone has their moments.
I understand why these women do it, but if they can, make fame or make money off of this person's name, they will. Certain people, just scumbags in general. Not just men or women specifically, but sometimes false allegations happen, and it happens way more often than we'd like to believe.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously it's okay to temporarily suspend a player while investigations are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to make those investigations very, very. We need to figure out what's happening as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they do. What's insane to me is I was listening to First Take today. Shout out to First Take. They're great. It's a huge inspiration for what I do. But anyways.
I didn't answer your question, though. If I'm a team, I wait. If conclusive evidence comes out that this person is an abuser and they're abusing their significant other or just some woman, whoever, whatever have you, I would. Let's say I'll use Ray Rice as an example because I thought we should have picked up Ray Rice after the full year happened. He was very apologetic. He went around and he donated to abuse organizations. I don't really know like domestic violence organizations, and his wife stood by him in the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that video was just gross and unacceptable. But I think that a guy who's completely remorseful in any situation. I'm a big guy. I'm a big advocate for second chances, and I believe that
100%. I'm the same way with that.
But if someone's a repeat abuser and they show no remorse, like Greg Hardy, they should not have a job.
Yes, they should be kicked out of the NFL
under any circumstance, 100%. And it should be on the owners to not pick up someone like that. And Kareem came out and he was remorseful, but I don't think it does it justice exactly. He should be suspended for a while.
Yeah, but what I was saying is on First Take, I think it was Damian Woody. He was talking about how the NFL, they're a $1 billion organization. How could they not get that video before TMZ does?
That's a good point.
That blows my mind. So that just proves right there that they are not prioritizing something like this, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's sad. It really is sad.
100% sad. And Kareem Hunt's a great player.
Yeah, and he's young too. So I think he deserves a second chance. But come on, man, stop. Get yourself together. That goes to every NFL player. It's ridiculous,
an immature thing to do. And we're not here to just sit here and trash on players or Kareem Hunt, but you made a foolish decision. And the fact that you weren't honest about it from the get-go, and let's say you were a little intoxicated, which I don't even think he was. You come out and you say that, and you say, "Listen, I made a huge mistake." You just, at least to your team, you let your team. It's come out that he didn't even say anything to anybody.
Yeah, and that happened in February, and this is just coming about like a week ago. So that's that's laughable. Like that's on you, Kareem. Speaking of which, though, the similar situation with Reuben Foster, the linebacker for the Redskins now, but like that.
No video, so it's not that big. So he just got claimed. I forget, who was it by? The Eagles or somebody?
No, he just got claimed by the Redskins.
Oh, the Redskins. That's
he
right.
was on the 49ers. Before.
Yeah, right. That's just egregious. That's disgusting.
Absolutely. And I forgot who it was in the Redskins organization, but they made a comment on it.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
Yeah, I can't quote it by word, but if you go look that up and read or listen to what this guy said, it's ridiculous.
What do you call it? Small potatoes or something? He's compared to what other people do in higher positions, it's no big deal.
He was literally trying to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal and was saying
get out of here with that.
Ridiculous. Absolutely
That's
ridiculous.
That's garbage, man.
Garbage. And Reuben Foster got accused of whatever, the abuse, obviously. He got drafted by the 49ers, and it was not even a week later he gets signed by the Redskins. That is ridiculous, and that is on the NFL, I think. It's sad, but NFL teams are going to do that. They're going to go sign guys to make them better, no matter what their background is. So I think that's where the NFL needs to come in and say, hey, no. They need to find guys a crap ton of money and make them ineligible to play for at least a season or a half a season, because it's ridiculous. And there's no way it's going to stop. It's sad that it'll never completely come to an end, but at least the NFL could do a lot more to moderate this.
I'd like to just briefly interject and interrupt you. I'm sorry, but I'm a big believer in the federal justice system. I think that, any justice system really in America. I'm especially trial by jury. I believe that you should go with what the court rules, and if the court rules, let's say somebody brings up a domestic violence dispute, this person should not be suspended unless there's concrete evidence, like video, photo evidence of them beating someone or any crime really. Until the court rules on it, they shouldn't be suspended or expelled by the NFL. If the team wants to make that decision, that's fine, but because they would probably know more than the NFL would. Possibly, but I genuinely think we can't just willy-nilly go suspending people from the NFL because of allegations. And I want to briefly mention that neither of us think that, and it's very tough because I like, how do I describe this? I am a firm believer in innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And if you're not proven guilty, then you shouldn't be. Obviously, you're going to get tried in the court of public opinion, which I don't believe in either. I think that's ridiculous that happens. But
Yeah.
like, we got to take it with a grain of salt and realize that the NFL can't just suspend everybody who is, accused or who they think, beat someone or committed a crime of some sort.
I gotcha, but the thing is with that, they need to improve the investigating. Like,
I think the investigating is probably fine. It's just they don't come to
so.
light with what they find, and they try to bury everything.
I do, yeah, and I don't agree with that. I think they need to do a way better job figuring out what happened, who got accused of whatever, and figure out if it's true or not, because it's ridiculous. And maybe, like, to compromise what we're both saying here, maybe like they can be put on that the commissioner's whatever list
Exempt
that
list?
that what Kareem is on right now, to where he's ineligible until they get all the stuff figured out. Like, I think at the least that's what they should do if someone is accused.
Let me bring up a scenario to you. This is kind of way out of left field, but it's worth mentioning. I mean, maybe bringing up a scenario. Let's say you're an all-time great running back. Let's say you're...
I already am that anyways. So.
Right, yeah. Let's say you're an all-time great, and, let's say Adrian Peterson's real jealous you're about to break some of his records. And he's like, you know what, I'm going to pay this woman to throw an allegation at this man. Let's say you're Kareem Hunt.
And I'm sure what you're talking about right now has actually happened. So, like...
So I'm going to pay this person to mess with your life and accuse you of something. Now you get placed on the exempt list and your stats take a hit. Your money gets messed with because you're like, now there's a question mark up against your name. Even if you are cleared of this and it's comes out that it's a hoax, you're still like, there's still that asterisk next to you in the court of public opinion and with teams in general. Or is this guy a risk? Should we pay him all this money? You know what I'm saying? You get what I mean?
I get it. But
and I'm not saying, another player would do this or another, you know what I'm saying? Just something like that happening where it's messing up your money. It's messing up your image, basically.
I get that, and I agree with that, but I think at least for like right now, that's what they should do, to send a message to these athletes that they can't be doing this. I don't think that should be a permanent thing to where every single guy that gets accused should go on that, because if they do, the entire NFL would be on the exempt list. But I think for a very short period of time, they should do that to send messages to these athletes that they cannot be hitting women. They can't be hitting anybody.
Don't hit anybody. Not women, not men. Don't
let alone
children,
women, not
puppies. Don't
animals.
hit anybody.
Nobody. Just keep your hands to your damn self. You're pretty much a registered weapon because you are a massive, massive human being hitting people for a living. So you're literally like a weapon. So don't mess around. just cool down.
It comes down to just don't be a dick. Don't be that guy. Just
don't be an idiot. Just cool
down. Or that girl.
down.
Just don't be hitting people.
I don't get it. Like, even if they're getting like provoked, like just cool down. Just you don't need to go hitting people, man. Just cool down.
These are human beings. Like that's what it comes down. These people are human beings, and obviously they make mistakes.
Of course,
and I think everyone deserves a second chance. But
I get that.
That being said, you're representing a global organization that makes a lot of money, and they have the right to do whatever they want with you. As sickening as that is, they can say, you know what, just because I feel like it, this guy's exempt, he can't play. Yeah. We're suspending this guy. Like, they could do that if they really wanted to, and I think it's up to the players to hold each other accountable. Mm-hmm. I think it's up to high school, middle school, AAU, and any kind of coach, teachers, parents, everyone. It's up to them to hold these people accountable 100%. When they make mistakes. It's 100%. Not, you can't be treating people differently.
100%.
100%.
100%.
All right, there's enough of that topic for now.
Well, no.
Unless you wanted to touch on something.
Yeah,
else.
just like in conclusion, I'm going to say my opinion on
absolutely.
If I was an NFL owner. Like, I think it depends on each player, because
on a player-to-player basis, for sure.
Like in Kareem Hunt's situation, like I said, like we've said multiple times, I am nowhere near condoning that. No one should ever lay a hand on a woman, no matter what, on anybody, if you're a professional athlete or representing an organization. Just in general. But he didn't punch someone in the face. I'm not saying that condones his actions, but he never punched the girl in the face. He never necessarily hurt her to where she's injured or anything like that. So I think in a situation like that where it's something to a less lesser degree, and he came out and was apologetic about it, admitted that he made a huge mistake from the start to the finish with the whole situation. I think a guy like that I would resign, but a guy like in the Reuben Foster situation, to where he hasn't really said much about it, and someone in the Redskins organization said some dumb crap about it, I wouldn't sign a guy like that. But that's just me.
Yeah, that's I agree with you on that front. It should definitely be player to player basis, and there's no. I really am not a big fan of zero tolerance policies because I'm also not a fan of excuses, but there a zero tolerance policy is like really some people get screwed in that, like and it's always hard to judge on which situation is worse. The intent, like Ray Rice punching his wife in the face is completely unacceptable, but the way he acted after, and like the way he was apologetic and his wife stood by him, and I feel like he not redeemed himself, but he warranted himself a second chance, especially when Colin Kaepernick is sitting out and not being able to play. You're going to sign Reuben Foster. Like, that's just disgusting.
I agree, 100%. Speaking of disgusting, let's talk about the Detroit Lions here.
Oh, hey.
How about them Lions? They're... I can't even think of a word to describe this. That's a great word to describe them. They are sad. You always think, as a Lions fan, and all Lions fans listening to this can attest to this, before the season starts, there's always at least like one small factor. Yeah.
Shred of hope.
Yeah, one small shred of hope or anything to where you're like, hey, they can make some noise this year. We can at least make the playoffs, and that's good enough for us considering the abysmal history that we've had. That'll be our word of the day today, abysmal.
Abysmal. Last week it was squandered.
And now it's
Do you know what that means now? Is the word squandered?
It's a waste of time and money, but
it's just a waste.
I knew that last week. I don't know why I messed it up.
Like if you're squandering your time, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So
they're abysmal.
Abysmal. They're horrible. We'll tell a brief story. On our first time, me and Tony getting in front of a microphone, it was for a project for our class at Macomb.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there with my friend Wes, in front of the show. Wes,
shout out Wes.
Yeah, shout out Wes.
He's a great guy.
Great man. Anyway, I said that if the Detroit Lions did not make the playoffs, I would stop watching the Lions. And I did. And I did not. I said I would be done with the Lions completely because my entire life has been getting my hopes up, getting disappointed, getting my hopes up, I did not watch one Lions football game this year, and I still won't. I know apparently Matthew Stafford is stinking up the joint, but horrible. I knew that was going to happen anyway.
I could never just stop watching my home team, though. I get where you're coming from, though, but
they've been disowned until there's a change in something changes.
I just can't. I can't do that to my team, even though I hate them and I don't enjoy watching them because I get a heart attack every time from how bad they are. But yeah, speaking of Matt Stafford, let me just tell you, we should get rid of him.
I've been saying that for years. He's not going to win us a championship. I've been saying it for forever.
Whatever you can get for him in a trade, anything. I don't care if it's a horrible like backup quarterback or someone like a horrible defensive player, just anybody. I think you need to trade this guy right now. I don't see a future with him running the helm of our organization. He's on the slow decline when he should be in his prime right now, which is the sad part about it. And I used to defend this quarterback for years. Everybody was like, oh, Stafford sucks, all this crap. And I was like, no. He is a very talented quarterback. With a terrible organization, which we are terrible.
We're horrible.
The last, abysmal. This year, he looks talentless. It's sad. Like, I could defend him before if he's, making good throws, he's putting up stats, but we're losing. That's what was happening before. He was filling the stats up, but our team was just terrible on both sides of the ball pretty much. But...
Well, we were all right, and that's the problem. We're always all right.
Yeah, but now it's like Matt Stafford is making, textbook mistakes, rookie mistakes, whatever year he's been in the NFL, and it had to have been from him getting paid all this money. It's I don't understand it. He does not look good anymore. He doesn't even his main thing was making fourth quarter comebacks, and I'm almost positive, I need to check the stat on that, but I don't think he has a single solitary one this year, and I don't think he had that many last year either. So he looks like he's on the slow decline. So I think it's time to get this mother effer out of here, man.
Any one of my friends can tell you, anyone that I've ever spoken to about sports can tell you that I have never been a fan of Matt Stafford. I always thought he was flashy. He, put up big numbers, but he never got the job done when it counted.
He's got an incredible arm. He's just not a good decision maker, and I guess he's not a good fourth quarter player anymore, and that was his bread and butter.
Well, was it really? He came back on a bunch of bad teams. I mean, he would come back on a good team every once in a while, but there is like I don't even know what it's at right now, but I remember seeing a couple years ago a stat. It was like Matt Stafford is like 2-48 against winning teams.
Yeah, probably
away. Like, how do you consider that man an elite quarterback? I think we need to define what an elite quarterback is. Excuse me. It's very important to understand that elite is a word that describes the best quarterbacks at the position. Yeah. Drew Brees, Tom Brady, whoever else you want to throw in there, really. You know, Matt Stafford is in the tier under that. He's in my opinion, he's in the Andrew Luck tier, where they can put up big stats and like they're like good quarterbacks. I'm making air quotations right now.
Andrew Luck is like going off this season.
Yeah, he is, but that's just who he is. He goes off, then he gets injured or doesn't get the job done. Doesn't lead his team to the playoffs.
True.
That's just Andrew Luck. That's another story for another time. I don't like Andrew Luck either. I just don't like quarterbacks like that. Anyway, Matt Stafford, never liked him. Still don't like him. We need to wait for his trade value to go up. He needs to have a good game. We trade him. Obviously, he's going to perform way better somewhere else, but he's not going to perform well for us, and that's my point.
That's the most irritating part about it is because I think with him, a change of scenery, like he could literally, I'm not saying Super Bowl, but like I think with another team in the right situation that he can get you to a playoffs and maybe win a few.
Yeah, he can win a few games.
I don't know if he can take you to the promised land, but I think he can get you there because like I still think above how bad he looks this year that he is a supremely talented quarterback and can throw the ball very well. Like he used to have okay decision making, but like this season and like late last season, like it just looks terrible, and I don't get it. I think he just needs a change of scenery. I've always defended him. We both need
time off from each other.
Yeah, they do. I've always defended him. Like I kind of overrated him. I'm not gonna lie. Now that I think about it, but I used to consider him tier 1 quarterback wise, and I always thought if I'm going just off like pure talent, like I thought he was in the top like 5 or 10 for a lot of his career, but now, man, he's not even like my top 15. Like I would take a lot of quarterbacks over him right now on the Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah,
and it's sad, but ever since he got that money, man, I don't know what's going on. It happens, like it's happening with a lot of sports where they get paid a lot of money and then they just suck. But there's no excuse for that, especially when you're the Detroit Lions and you've never been good. So you should at least try to be good, and it doesn't even look like he's trying to be good. He's a great guy. I listen to 97.1.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, for sure.
I listen to 97.1 The Ticket a lot, and they talk about how great of a guy he is, how great of a community guy he is, and I love that, but like he is not getting it done on the field, and it's really upsetting to watch.
Extremely upsetting. So I guess we could transition that into talking about our predictions for this year for the NFL and what we think is going on.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start off with the AFC East here. It's the Patriots sitting at 9-3. The Dolphins are 6-6. The Bills are 4-8, and the Jets are 3-9. Who do you got winning that? I mean, it's a pretty clear-cut answer, but we'll see what you say here.
Well, let's go with the Bill. No, I'm just kidding. It's the Patriots. Obviously, it's always the Patriots. It always will be the Patriots until Tom Brady retires and Bill Belichick's gone.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much. You know what? Actually, no. The Jets. The Jets are coming back from 3-9.
Stop it. Go away.
And they're going to win the Super Bowl. They're going to get taken to the promised land.
Get away from me.
Sam Darnold. That's their quarterback, right?
I don't even know, man.
They suck. So Patriots are winning the AFC East for sure.
They're abysmal.
Let's go to the North now with the Steelers sitting at 7-4. The Ravens are 7-5. The Bengals 5-7. Browns 4-7.
I'll go with the division leader here. The Steelers.
Yeah.
I always say this is their year. I'm a big fan of Big Ben. I've always liked him. Their new running back is nice and shiny. But I really think that this year they could actually make some noise for real. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, not having Le'Veon Bell when it comes playoff time will be very key for them. But,
well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
And I think I read online today that James Conner, their backup, is hurt too. So that might not be good for them. Yeah, yikes, for sure. But, I'm picking the Steelers as well. Here's the tricky one, kind of. Sorry, not this one. AFC West, Chiefs 10-2, the Chargers 9-3, the Broncos 6-6, the Raiders are 2-10. Who do you think is going to win that one, buddy? I mean, I'll go with mine first. I'll say I can't talk today. Sorry, guys. The Chiefs I'm picking at 10-2. I think Mahomes, dude, goddamn. That guy's a monster. I think he should win MVP. He probably won't, though, because Drew Brees is amazing. But Patrick Mahomes is an MVP candidate, balling out. They're 10-2. They literally, it seems to me every time I see them on TV, they're scoring over 40 points a game, and I haven't seen that in a long time. So they're great. The Chargers, I'm not counting out either though, because they are also very good, sitting at 9-3. Like I said, Phillip Rivers he's always been like a tier 2 quarterback, but
he's tier 1, man.
I think he's tier 2, but I think he's at the top of that tier, and I think he's been consistent for his whole career. So I got a lot of respect for him.
Always been like just sucked around him, or they've been injured or whatever. I think I've always said that the Chargers are going to break through at some point. I think this is their time. The Chiefs always choke in the playoffs. Granted, Alex Smith was quarterbacking before. Now it's Pat Mahomes, but I really think that the Chargers can do it this year, for real. I think they're winning the division, and I think they could actually make some noise in the playoffs.
I don't see the Chiefs not winning this division, considering how many points they put up a game, and their defense is not very good, but when you put up 40 a game, you at least just have to play decent.
You're right. I see what you're saying.
So I'm going to pick the Chiefs here. But AFC South, we got the Texans at 9-3, the Colts are 6-6, the Titans are 6-6, and the Jags are 4-8.
Unless a big injury happens, we all know how this is going.
They're they're 3 games above, so I'm going to pick the Texans there too. This was the one I was talking about that's tricky, this next one. I looked at the wrong one, but this is the tricky one. The NFC East. It's the Cowboys sitting at 7-5, the Redskins at 6-5, the Eagles at 5-6, and the Giants at 4-8. Who you got winning that one? Because I have a weird answer to this.
Can I say not the Giants and then call it a day? Because they're not. The Giants are, to use the word of the day, abysmal.
Yeah.
And they have been for a few years.
Yes,
so,
they have. And it's weird. I honestly think their problem is Eli Manning. I mean, they have Odell and coaching. Their coaching is pretty bad too. Odell is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Can catch anything thrown to him pretty much. And Saquon Barkley is looking like he's about to be a beast for his whole career. And Eli Manning just sucks. So, yeah. I'm
gonna go with probably the Skins with this one. I've always been a big fan of the Redskins, and I like Alex Smith. Honestly,
he's hurt.
Who's quarterback?
He broke his tibia.
When?
A few weeks ago, buddy.
Oh.
That's who my pick was at first too. But I'm not even gonna lie. I don't even know who the Redskins quarterback is right now too. I know they picked up like Mark Sanchez, I believe, but I think he's their backup. And yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, you can tell I haven't been watching much NFL this season.
Yeah, but it's all right. This is a shot in the dark, and it might be wrong. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles here at 5-6. I think the Cowboys have the worst fans for one. I'll just say that now.
Yeah, I hate you Cowboys fans.
Yeah,
I know you're listening.
We hate you.
Everyone's listening because this is the greatest podcast of all time in the world, in the universe.
Even though I always mess up talking, I'm still the greatest speaker of all time, and so is Dominick. So hey.
Well, no, we can't tie here.
We're a tie. Okay, hey, everyone messes up talking sometimes, you know?
Leave it in the comments. Who do you think is a better speaker, me or Tony? I stutter. He gets jumbled over his words.
Real quick.
It's a good time.
I almost did it right there. I stumble over my words a lot.
We're just people.
We're just people speaking in front of a mic, and we're absolutely amazing at it. Anyways, let's get back to what we're talking about here. My reasoning for the Eagles is because the Cowboys literally squander.
Yeah, there it is.
Everything.
Squander their opportunities
every time. And it's awesome to me because I hate Cowboys fans because they're delusional for one, but
and they're obnoxious.
When they're always like have a glimpse of hope, thinking that they're gonna make the playoffs, they always squander it. So I think that's what's gonna happen again this year. I think they're gonna lose a few games, even though they're hot right now. I think they're gonna lose and they're gonna squander their opportunity once again. And I think Carson Wentz and the Eagles are finally gonna figure it out and make the playoffs slightly, and they're going to not go anywhere. But, hey, I think they're going to get in because the Cowboys are going to ruin their opportunity.
All right, let's move on. We'll make these next few quick.
Yeah. NFC North, Bears are sitting at 8-4, Vikings 6-5, Packers 4-7, Lions 4-8. You know what? Lions are good. No. Hell no, the Lions are not going to freaking win this division. I think it's the Bears. They're looking pretty good.
It's easy to just go with the division leader every time, but they're so much better than everybody else.
They are. The Vikings aren't looking too good so far. The Packers, that's another discussion for another day. Aaron Rodgers and that whole team is just a joke right now. But, yeah, the Lions for sure aren't winning jack crap because they suck. Jack crap, baby. They suck. But, yeah, the Bears.
Hashtag jack crap.
The Bears are looking pretty good. Trubisky is looking pretty good so far. Their defense, since they got Mac, has been very, very good.
That's all I need.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears.
It takes one big-time playmaker. Yeah, I'm going with the Bears as well.
Yeah, you better have the Bears, you mother trucker. Anyways, we'll get the easy one out of the way here with the NFC West. The Rams 11-1, Hawks 7-5, Cardinals 3-9, 2-10, for the 49ers. The Rams already won the division. I think I saw that on the internet, so we don't even need to speak about that.
No. Shout out Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a bust, kind of. When I heard an interview, and I like to base my opinions a lot off of interviews, but he sounded like timid and scared in an interview one time, and then he had a terrible rookie season, and I was like, oh, this guy's going to suck, and he doesn't. And shout out Jared Goff.
Yeah, shout out Jared Goff. Yeah, they're looking really good. His first season, he did not look very good at all, but they got a new coach, and since then, they look dominant. They have a lot of
Jeff
personnel.
Fisher.
They have a lot of personnel on
Sean
their team.
McVay, right, is their coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young guy. He's pretty good. He's a very good coach. They got a nice future. If they don't win the Super Bowl this year, we'll get to our predictions on that very soon.
Yeah.
But if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, I think they have a chance to become a dynasty in the next few years. Here.
Oh.
So, yeah, hot take. But so the NFC South, Saints are 10-2. The Panthers 6-6.
Stop. Don't even read the rest of those. It's going to be the Saints. No one else matters in that division.
Well, hey, we got to shout out my Buccaneers. I like the Buccaneers.
Stop it.
Panthers are 6-6. The Bucks are 5-7, and the Falcons are 4-8.
Drew Brees is in the upper echelon of quarterbacks of all time. He's going to hold all the records before he retires, and he's going to be. I don't know why he's never been in the greatest quarterback of all time conversation. I think that's absurd that he's not.
Because I think the reasoning for that, I agree with you. I think he should be considered for that. But I think the reasoning is because he won that Super Bowl, and then since then he has not done much. And it's not his fault.
Though, man.
I know it's because of his team. But when you're not winning, you're not going to be considered for that, no matter what. And it sucks because unless you're Aaron Rodgers and you are way ahead of the talent level like he is, you're not going to get considered for anything.
I don't even know if he's. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers another day. We'll save it for the next podcast. Anyway, Drew Brees is great, and I respect him as a man and as a football player.
Yeah. So with that being said, who do you think is going to represent each division?
Excellent question. I think the Saints are going to the Super Bowl for sure. Like I said, all-time quarterback talent. They've got a good running back situation going there now, and they've got a decent defense this year for once.
Okay.
And out of the AFC, is it okay to say the Patriots every year? Like, is that okay? Can I do that?
It's all right.
Then that's what I'm going to do.
Who you got winning it? Saints?
I'd love to say the Saints.
That's tough, though. I don't think the Patriots are going to make the Super Bowl this year.
That's fine.
Your
opinion doesn't matter. I'm obviously the better half, so
thanks. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to get there regardless because looking at these teams right now, I don't see a defense that is going to stop them. Maybe the Patriots can because they beat them earlier in the season, but I think if Mahomes balls out like he usually does, I don't see a team stopping them from scoring under 40 points, and it's insane. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs to represent the AFC. In the NFC, I do believe the Rams are going to beat the Saints.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the Rams will represent the NFC.
That's a terrible opinion.
Well, they are 11-1 and playing great. And have a lot of
I respect that. It could go either way. Really.
So in the Super Bowl, Rams versus Chiefs, it's going to be a shootout, man. It could be a 40-point game. It should be good. However, I do think here, with Kareem Hunt being gone, I know Spencer Ware's still there, but I do think that can be the deciding factor, and I'm picking the LA Rams to win the Super Bowl this year. Jared Goff, MVP.
A very good prediction.
An MVP of the Super Bowl, not the MVP of the season. Speaking of that, though, who's your MVP of the season?
I don't know.
There's a lot of guys to choose from.
Yeah,
here, so
I don't know, man. Who do you think?
I think Drew Brees because of what he's doing right now at the age that he is at. I think he will win for that reason, and because they're 10-2 and they're great. Yeah, I hope so too.
I hope it's Drew Brees.
However, say if like Mahomes was like that age and doing what he's doing right now, I think Mahomes would be the clear-cut MVP, and he still might win the MVP. But I'm gonna go with Drew Brees. So
I think people are gonna start respecting Drew Brees.
Yeah,
like for real soon. Especially if he wins this championship, he's going to be right up there with he's already up there with the all-time greats, but he's in like the Dan Marino category, right under the all-time greats, like Peyton and Tom Brady and Joe Montana.
For sure up there.
I think that Peyton Manning is, I think that Drew Brees is definitely better than Joe Montana, and that's a hot take, but we'll talk, like I said, we'll talk about that
another day. Have to talk about it another day because that might have been one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life.
I'm sorry. I don't really care what you think.
It's all right. Speaking of all-time greats, though, let's transition here to the NBA.
Of course.
All right. Let's talk about who do you think is your all-time best player's starting lineup?
Like all-time 5?
Yeah, all-time 5.
Do we have to stick to positions is my question.
Yes. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center.
Roger that. Okay.
And not the
Can we get a six-man?
No. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Get a six-man. Whoever you want. The best six-man of all time, though, it can't be someone who's good that you're just going to put at your six-man. It has to be your best six-man of all time. How about that?
Tough. That's so tough.
Let's hear it.
All right. So let's start out. I'll start from the bottom up. For my center, I'm going Shaquille O'Neal.
Ooh.
I don't think it's. Obviously you could go Kareem here, but I'm going Shaq because I don't think anyone can guard him, and I think that he can guard anybody. He's not going to be able to switch on the perimeter and things like that, but I think he's so dominant down low that it doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll wait till you're done with all of your list to start saying mine.
Okay.
So I'll just let you talk here.
And at the 4, this is a controversial pick. I don't really care what anyone else thinks about this. You know what it's going to be. It's
I know exactly who it's going to be.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Yep.
Switch 41. He's my favorite He's my favorite player of all time.
I knew it.
I think he's the greatest power forward of all time. I know that's extremely ridiculous in some people's eyes. I don't really care what you think. I think Dirk Nowitzki is the best. He changed the game completely. All you see is stretch fours now, and that's because of Dirk. At the 3, like sentimentally,
this should not be a discussion. I don't know why you look like you're thinking. If it's
I
not
want
who you
to
think
pick
it's
Larry
gonna be,
Bird, but obviously it's going to be LeBron James.
Okay, thank you.
It's going to be LeBron.
God damn it.
It's going to be LeBron.
It better be.
I don't really need to say anything about that. With he can handle the ball. He can do everything.
He's the best player.
I'm going prime LeBron James, which is debatably, it could be a couple years ago, like 2 years ago when he won the championship, and it could be Heat LeBron.
Okay, that's fair.
Either
Shooting
way,
guard. I mean, this shouldn't really be a discussion, but go ahead. Shooting guard.
Kobe Bryant. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
It's Michael Jordan. Obviously, Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
I don't need to say much about that. Greatest of all time. It's a discussion now, but it's really not until LeBron.
We'll do that. We'll do that another day because we could talk all day about who you think is better between LeBron and Michael Jordan. Because I'm not even gonna lie, I switch my opinion on that every single day because I see LeBron do bad one day and I'm like, man, MJ would have never done that. And then I see LeBron score like 51, 8-8 in a finals game, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think Michael Jordan would have done that either.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, I'm so up in the air about that, but we'll talk about that another day. Go ahead.
And for my all-time point guard, this is a very difficult decision. There's
hard.
a lot of great players, and this is not my reflection of who I think the best point guard of all time is. But if I'm trying to create the best lineup I can, and if it's in today's NBA, I'm picking Steph Curry, because Steph completely changes the game. Completely. Now, if I wasn't picking Steph,
Oh, goodness, Dominick.
Obviously, one of my favorite players of all time is also Steve Nash, so he's in the kind of Steph category. I'd pick Steve, Steph.
Are you okay right now? Are you all right? Are you missing someone?
Magic, I know.
Okay.
Magic.
Thank you.
But I think with LeBron on the team already, we don't really... I like shooting. I think that...
That's fair.
Steph fits better with that team than Magic does.
That's fair.
I think Magic Johnson, and shout out to my boss, Frank Zarnowski, he thinks that Magic is the greatest player of all time, which I don't know if I agree with. But he made some good points that, he could play 1 through 5, literally 1 through 5 in any era. So shout out Magic.
Yeah, he's
and
not.
I think he's great.
Not on Jordan's level. I'm sorry.
Top 3 for sure. Top 3, top 5. Magic Johnson. All time.
Maybe he's top 10 for me for sure. I don't know if I'm putting him in my top 5.
I'm putting him in my top 5 for sure.
Maybe. Well, that's something for another day as
Magic
well.
is the best point guard of all time in my opinion, but I prefer Steph or Steve Nash or somebody in that role.
If you're creating a team,
on my
so
team,
I get what you're saying. That would make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Let's see here. I'll start from center too. I'm gonna have to agree with you. I've always been a humongous Shaquille O'Neal fan, and I think in his prime there is not a single solitary player that can even contain this man. Not Yao Ming, not Ben Wallace, not anybody. I don't think anybody can contain this man. There might be a game where they seem that they're being contained, but on a consistent basis, you're not containing Shaquille O'Neal in his prime.
Boban Marjanovic. I'm just kidding. At least with Boban, though. Hashtag at least
You
with
know
Boban.
what? Yeah, Boban is my center instead of Shaq.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. No, but Shaquille O'Neal for sure. Power forward. This one's pretty tough because I did consider Dirk Nowitzki for this.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to build my team, I'm probably picking Dirk Nowitzki because if Shaq needs to kick it out to someone, that's a good guy to kick it out to.
I've converted you.
But no, if I'm going off the best player at that position, it's Tim Duncan.
Okay, but I'm saying you need to pick. You just said you got to pick your team. This is your team.
But that's not what the initial question was. I'm saying
all-time starting 5.
Your all-time starting 5. So that just means the best player at each position.
Oh, fine, whatever.
It could go either way, but
okay.
I'll go to both points.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, if I'm trying to build like a team to where I'm like building an organization and I have the choice, I'm picking Dirk for that particular team because I have Shaq already. But if I'm going the best power forward of all time, I think it's Tim Duncan because. Okay. The guy was unguardable in the post for one, and
I respect that opinion.
In that, like in his era when like posts were was the main source of scoring, he could do it at any time, and he was an amazing team player. Obviously, he won championships. He filled the stats up, like he was just fantastic. I also considered, this is going to be crazy to you, but I also considered Kevin Garnett for this because.
Really?
Yeah. He was also a monster in the post, could shoot a midi, and won. I mean, he only won one championship, but I mean, he was very talented. So I considered him for that too, but ultimately Tim Duncan is who I'm picking.
If I could quickly interject.
Yeah.
If anyone in the comments on any of the platforms that this podcast is on says that Kevin Garnett is better than Dirk Nowitzki, I'm pulling up and we're going to fight.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who think that, man.
There are plenty of people who think that.
Probably.
A lot of highly respected people think that, and you're absurd if you think that.
I'm telling you,
you're absurd, man.
I don't think this personally, but I guarantee there's people who say Barkley is better than.
Come on, get out of here.
I'm telling you.
How many championships does Barkley have?
0.
How many teams did Barkley lead to the finals on his back with absolutely no help whatsoever?
1, I think.
No.
I think he went to a championship once.
Maybe he did, but he didn't win. Dirk won against the Heat. We'll get into that another day.
Yeah, that was fantastic by Dirk. But I'm telling you, people would say that. I don't think so. I think
Jason
it
Terry's
goes.
a good player.
I think it goes Duncan, Dirk, KG. But some people, I'm telling you, will say Barkley, and I don't know why. But anyway, small forward. You already know. I don't even need to go into this. LeBron freaking James, by far, and it's not close. I don't know why you were considering Larry Bird because I don't think Larry Bird is even on his level, slightly even on his level. Larry Bird's one of the best of all time. Don't get me wrong. Top 10, top 15
But you can't
player.
say that and then be like, oh, Larry Bird's not on his
Well,
level.
because LeBron James is on his own level. Him and Jordan are on his own level, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's why I wouldn't have even considered Larry Bird for that. Shooting guard, it's obviously Michael Jordan. He's above everyone else, too. But you obviously got to give Kobe some consideration there because I love me some Kobe.
Kobe's
no,
just
you
know how you get the Arnold Palmers and they taste really good, and then you go and you get the Arnold Palmer Lights that taste pretty good still, but they're just not like regular Arnold Palmers. That's Kobe.
Okay.
Kobe's Arnold Palmer
I love
Light.
Kobe. Kobe's one of my favorites of all time, but it's obviously Michael Jordan. Point guard, Magic Johnson, just because he's the best point guard of all time.
Yeah.
If I'm building a team, though, that's a good point with Steph Curry, honestly. I don't know. Because if I'm
if there's
building that
hand
team,
checking, I just want to clarify. I've said in the first podcast that if they brought hand checking back, Steph would never score another bucket in the NBA. But if we're playing in a modern type league, Steph Curry.
Yeah, but no, I'm gonna pick Magic. And if I was building like a team, this is a tough decision, but I think I'm gonna go with Steve Nash because
I love for Steve Nash on the show.
I know because. I think Curry, when his career is over, will be marked as a better player than Steve Nash, obviously.
He already is.
Yeah, probably.
In a lot of eyes.
But I think because of the way Nash played and the way he could assist the ball, imagine him running the helm with LeBron, Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, and Shaq. Like, I know Magic could do that too, but I'm only saying for the team purposes because that Steve Nash could shoot and Magic couldn't really shoot that well. That's not a testament to saying Steve Nash is anywhere near better than Magic because he's not. But I'm saying for the team purposes, I'm going to take Steve Nash to run my point guard position.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about John Stockton. Yeah, John Stockton was incredible. We can't not mention John Stockton.
Yeah, we can't. But
like that John Stockton, I don't know.
He's top 5 at position.
I think that John Stockton fits into that. I would prefer John Stockton over Steve Nash. And Steve Nash is one of my favorites of all time. But John Stockton was just
John Stockton
better.
Often gets overlooked, so I'm not surprised we just did that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't talk about him a lot, but that man was amazing, and he was so consistent for so long. It was awesome.
All right, who's your sixth man?
Okay, yeah, sixth man.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to go with Jamal Crawford. I think that's kind of a generic answer, but
yeah.
He gets you for sure scoring off the bench when he's in his prime, and he's won a few sixth man of the year. Honorable mention for that, though, Lou Will, because he can win it every year if he wanted to. Lou Will, Eric Gordon's a pretty good sixth man as well. There was a lot of good sixth men in their primes. So those are just a few that come to my mind. How about you, buddy?
I'm looking at you right now. And
am I forgetting someone?
Yes, you certainly are.
Oh, God. Correct me, and then maybe I'll change my mind.
A classic Celtics team. His son is the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Bill Walton is easily the greatest sixth man of all time, and it's not even close. It's not even close. We're done with this. We're not done. All right, let's move on.
Sure. Speaking of NBA and underrated players, when we were talking about Stockton, what are some surprising players to you this season so far, and underrated players? So I got a few, but let me hear yours first.
Okay, so first, he's not obviously not surprising. I thought this was going to happen, but Blake Griffin has really showed up this season.
That was the first person I was going to talk about.
Like, he's a great player, and I always knew that, and I knew he was going to be good when he came here. I was fully in support of Stanley. I'm sorry. I almost said Stanley Johnson.
But we got rid of Boban, dude.
I know. I love Boban, and I love Tobias.
I love me some Boban.
When Stan Van Gundy made that trade, I was like, this is a good trade for us. If Blake Griffin can stay healthy, which he has, he's going to be incredible for us.
Yeah.
And he was, and I think that is not only like one of the most underrated players in the NBA right now, but he's also my most improved player for the season.
He probably will. And he stayed healthy. I mean, I pray to God he stays healthy the whole season because the way he's playing right now is incredible, and we're actually winning games. And I think it has to do with Dwayne Casey a lot, too. I think he's adjusted to this team very well. And I hope they can actually be consistent now with Dwayne Casey at the coaching position. But that's yet to be seen. And it is the Pistons, so you never know.
Yeah. Derrick Rose.
Yeah, that was someone else I was thinking of. Derrick
Comeback
Rose.
Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah, he might win Comeback Player of the Year and Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah, he won both.
He's a monster.
If he stays healthy and continues doing what he's doing, obviously.
Another few guys who never gets looked at, but he might be an all-star this year, and their team is doing incredible, is Chris Middleton.
Yeah, I love Chris Middleton.
Yeah, and of course the Pistons could have had him, but, they completely squandered that.
Technically a former Piston.
Yeah, unbelievable. There's a lot of guys. That's another discussion for another day.
How about Nikola
as well.
Vucevic, though?
You're taking the words out of my mouth, man. That was the next person I was talking about. We
don't have any of this written down, by the way. We probably should, but we don't.
We don't.
And we didn't discuss it before the podcast either, so we're just kind of talking here.
Yeah, like we always do. That's why I keep freaking going over my words and messing up, because it's like what if I was regularly talking? So
that's regularly for people who didn't understand him.
Yeah, it's. I drank some pop before this podcast, so maybe that's why I sound bad right now. But that's all right. I'm still the greatest. He's still the greatest, and we're going to sound great as time goes on. So I apologize for the way I sound right now. But hey,
you sound beautiful as always. You got
thanks. I appreciate that.
Crystal clear.
I just have a lot of saliva built up right now because of that pop I was drinking.
I have none. I have really dry mouth right
now. That's why I keep stuttering over words, man. I don't do it this often. So I apologize to all the viewers. Please tune in next time, though. Thanks.
Yeah, we get better every podcast. That's one thing you got to notice. We're going to get better.
Every time.
And also, while we're on the subject, thank you for everyone who comment. We had like 5 people comment on our post on Facebook about what we should discuss.
Yeah, and we're using all of those topics, so we really appreciate that, because we were struggling before the episode on what we were going to talk about. So keep those coming in. We may not use all of them, but
speaking of, I'll just briefly mention
much appreciated.
My high school alma mater. I don't know if you can still use alma mater for high school, but Chippewa Valley, undefeated season football. They are state champions, Division I. Just wanted to shout that out real quick, and we can continue with our discussion.
Okay. Any other surprising or underrated players that you can think of right now?
There are plenty, but like I said, they're underrated and surprising, so I probably am not thinking of them.
I mean, hey, Steven Adams is always one that comes to mind.
I love Steven
because he's always been consistent, always been good, and he never gets talked about as a top center. But I think he should be considered in the top 10.
I think he's probably
don't say top 5. Please.
He's at least top 7.
Okay, maybe we'd have to go through that, but
yeah, well, another day we'll postpone.
Yeah,
please leave in the comments of wherever you're at. Go to our Facebook page, go to our Twitter page. It's Hell's Gate Podcast on everything. Except for Twitter and Snapchat, which is Hell's Gate PC.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, we'll get the stuff on YouTube very soon. We were just having some technical difficulties earlier with that, but episode 1 will be on right after we are done recording this, and then episode 2 will be here on Wednesday.
Probably Wednesday. We'll upload it Wednesday. Just briefly, I'd like to say on SoundCloud, we are. You just go to SoundCloud.com/Hellsgate Podcast, and you'll get all of our stuff. If you're not listening to this on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, bruh.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, so let's just move on.
Okay.
You want to start talking about WWE right now and how to fix Raw? Because
let's get into it, man. What do you think?
We talked about what was wrong with Raw last podcast.
So now we're going to talk about how to fix it.
Yes.
Because we're very good men and we're trying to fix WWE.
Vince McMahon is listening.
Because he needs to know. And he needs to know.
He needs to know.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start off with one thing. As much as I love me some Brock Lesnar, get this man out of WWE now, right now, Vince. Go call Brock up and say, hey, give me my Universal Championship back.
Say, Brock
Lesnar. Right now, get him out of WWE, because he is one of the biggest problems to why Raw is horrendous. How are you about to have Raw, because Raw is the A show, I'm sorry to say. SmackDown is good, but Raw is the A show. More people watch Raw than SmackDown. How are you about to have your main champion for your main show not show up ever, and when he goes to pay-per-views, it's subpar matches every single time.
And he's always just I like this match with Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series.
It was good, yeah.
I will say it was a good match.
But
I like the storytelling.
Same thing every time. It's always
You're right.
Brock Lesnar destroying whoever he's fighting for a solid 20 minutes.
Little comeback run.
And then a little comeback to where you're like, holy crap, is Brock Lesnar about to lose? And then he F5s him, and it's that.
Yeah, exactly.
Happens every single time. That's how they. That's
if it's
what they
Roman
did.
Reigns, it's a couple times, but usually it's just once or twice.
That's what they did with AJ last year at Survivor Series, and that's what they did with Daniel Bryan. So
I so thought he was going to win
so
for a sec.
predictable. I know. I'm not gonna lie. So that's why it was a pretty good match. But that is first and foremost.
Agreed.
Get that man out of.
I don't know if that's
WWE.
first, but that's definitely a big problem. I think obviously we need to fix
The booking, like we've touched base on multiple
exactly
times.
the storylines. Stop giving people microphones and giving them the green light and letting them. Nia Jax, she's a good silent monster. You need to, and she's got a great smile.
Yeah.
But you need to get her away from the microphone.
For now,
she can talk and she's got a nice attitude. Like she's keep her with short remarks and short promos. Do not let her talk for a long stretch of time because it's terrible every time.
And they need to start pushing the right talent.
Of course.
Making them have better characters so people don't think that they grow stale and grow boring and bland, as Gordon Ramsay would say.
This result's always bland.
Very bland. Where's the lamb sauce? Anyways, so for example, a guy like Finn Balor, me and Dom have talked about him so much because in ring, he's fantastic. On the mic, he's not bad, but his gimmick right now is literally the most generic and boring thing that you could ever imagine.
Yeah, just smile.
And
just smile, Finn.
Yeah, a guy like
smile for the people.
I mean, Elias isn't bad in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying that, but a guy like Elias and like Bobby Lashley are getting pushed over him right now is like laughable because they're not on his level in terms of
he needs to
in-ring
be,
ability.
Fighting
he
for
has
the Intercontinental
charisma.
Championship at least.
Yeah, and he has charisma. He just doesn't get that creative freedom that the other guy gets because of how bland his freaking gimmick is. Balor Club, Balor Club's for everyone. No. It is for everyone, but and the shirts are cool, but
that's what I'm saying. The merchandise.
How can your gimmick be based off of something so boring like that?
His
Club
gimmick is fine. It's not the Balor Club is not the problem. It's the fact that he has no personality on TV anymore. And he just gets squashed by everybody. Yeah. What is with Baron? Another thing. Love Baron Corbin. Love what he does. Biggest waste of gimmick of all time. Like I said in the last podcast. But I will say he can't just. Why are they making him squash everybody? Like, I understand it's like an unfair circumstances, but you're like pushing your general manager for no reason. This has got a bigger story arc than I'm seeing, I'm sure. And hopefully it turns out well with Brock coming back.
But
Braun coming back from injury.
But will it? Probably
will it
not.
though?
Probably
no.
not.
Continuity, biggest thing.
Goodness, yeah.
Why are like particular superstars? I know. What's her name? Dana
Brooke.
Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
Who is kind of not doing anything right now, but they have her flip-flopping between, like, she's on house shows, she's like wrestling with the faces, and then on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, she's like on the heel team.
Yeah.
Like, just stupid stuff like that. It doesn't make sense
at all.
Stop it.
It's
Stop.
sad.
Vince, what are you doing?
Come on, Vince. I know you're listening, man. Fix it.
What are you doing, Vince?
Now, or retire and give it to Triple H. And tell Stephanie
Shane.
to retire too. Yeah.
Or call us up and we will run the company.
Literally, let us do it.
Give it to Fit Finley.
Yeah, honestly though. Or William Regal, man. Give it to William Regal.
Yeah.
He's great.
Where's the lamb sauce?
But yeah, like we were saying, we were predicting our last champions last week. Or last episode, I mean.
The championship needs to change hands to fix
Yeah, that's another thing because I was talking about Brock Lesnar.
You know what's a good idea?
Put the strap on Drew McIntyre or Braun Strowman because they are consistently there and they are consistently good.
Or literally anyone else on the roster
besides Brock Lesnar.
I love Brock. He's the beast incarnate. He's the
beast and the best in the world. Dom, say something stupid.
Brock Lesnar is the greatest of all time. That was stupid.
You know, he could be if he actually came on TV, but he's a lazy, non-caring.
Well, would you come every single week if you were getting paid all this money and you had the option not to? Like, I wouldn't, honestly.
You're right. But WWE needs to just get the belt off of him immediately because it's so annoying. It is so annoying as a fan seeing the same guy as champion and not even being there on TV. And when he's there, it's the same thing every time. It's just ridiculous, man.
Anyway, in summary, new writers. We talked about that last podcast. New champion. it's hard to push the right guys all the time, but it's so obvious when you have a large talent that's being underutilized, especially to the fans.
Yeah.
I mean, a million examples come to mind. Sheamus, Cesaro, just everybody. Like
a lot.
Even
of
Seth
guys.
Rollins is kind of underutilized at this point.
Yeah,
and that's
really.
kind of, it sounds stupid because he's the Intercontinental Champ and he's
Yeah.
like in big matches all the time. But like, why is he not in the main title picture?
Since Roman got
Universal.
the unfortunate thing of leukemia,
Yeah.
I think Seth Rollins should literally replace what Roman Reigns was doing and be the face of Raw.
Yeah,
because he
not
definitely
without the disgusting kick out of every single maneuver all the time and always beat people that you shouldn't. Like, there needs to be some storytelling in there. And again, that's up to booking and writing.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like continuity and like consistency.
Yeah.
Another like random thing to just bring up. So Roman Reigns fought Bobby Lashley. I think it was at a pay-per-view or it was on a Raw, and Bobby Lashley beat him clean. Bobby Lashley speared him and won the match. And then he lost after that to Roman again. And now Bobby Lashley is like in the mid-card and probably won't get a push anytime soon. Like, how are you about to have Bobby Lashley beat your top guy and then just be nothing? It was a meaningless win. He got squashed by Roman their next match, and then now he's been nothing. So, like, that's another huge problem that we've already touched base on. But, like, an example I'm saying like that, like, come on, man. Like, if you're going to push a guy, push a guy. If he doesn't end up working out, then whatever. But how are you going to push him 1 week and then the next week, literally the next week it was, and then not have him be pushed anymore? That makes no sense at all, and they don't take risks anymore. Their last risk was the unfortunate one of Jinder Mahal being WWE champion. So,
all right, let me just quickly. We got to wrap up here in the next 5 minutes because we're trying to shorten the episode length a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you guys prefer the longer episode, that's 100% fine. We would rather talk for longer.
Yeah.
But we got a little bit less time today, and we're gonna try it out and see how people like it. So
let us know.
Please get back to us and let us know what you prefer.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna ask you, just to wrap up the episode, who is your most underrated NBA player right now, NFL player right now, and wrestler right now?
Yeah. That sounds like a plan. Let us keep sending in.
No,
topics.
I'm asking you this.
Oh, you're asking me.
But
this.
also our people. The People's Podcast. This is the Real People's Podcast. I don't want to hear anything else. You let us know.
Before I answer, though, I'm saying keep commenting with topics that we can talk about, or like any advice or anything like that. Because like I said, we're learning, and like I said, I keep messing up my damn words.
Yeah.
So like, you don't have to comment that, but you know, if you want to tell me it again, like I've said it, you can tell me. But I'm gonna work on it for sure, and not drink pop before a damn episode.
We love criticism and we love feedback. So
100%.
Positive or negative, you tell us what we need to do, what we want us to talk
100%.
about. Again, it's Hell's Gate on basically everything, but Hell's Gate Podcast on basically everything, but Snapchat and Twitter, which is Hell's Gate PC.
Yeah, and when you're sitting in front of a mic for like an hour, and this is one of your first times doing it, you're gonna mess up your words.
No excuses, bro. Stop it. Stop it. They don't want to hear that.
Just bear with us. Bear with us here. We're gonna improve, and we're doing great, and we're the greatest podcast of all time still. But you know, everyone makes mistakes.
Anyway, let's hear it.
Ask me the question again. Go ahead.
Your most underrated superstar, your most underrated NFL player, football player, and your most underrated NBA player.
That's really tough. My most underrated NBA player, I think, is no doubt Chris Middleton. I'll just get that out of the way right now. I think he's an all-star, and I think he was an all-star last year, but he doesn't get enough credit because when you have Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Also, you're in a tiny market like Milwaukee.
Yeah, but when you have a guy like Giannis who gets all the headlines because he dunks on anything that lives, whether it's a human or an animal or anything.
Oh, next time we got to talk about how Shaq gave the Superman nickname to Giannis. We'll talk about that next time.
Course.
All right, NFL player.
I don't know. Do you want me to go by like an offensive and a defensive player, or just all together?
Yeah, all together.
That's tough. You put me on the spot here.
Let's go quarterback just to make it easier for you.
Quarterback?
Because there are a lot of
most
players
underrated
in the
quarterback.
NFL.
That's a tough one too, man. That's a really tough one. You're putting me on the spot here. But, ooh, man. I think because of how bad they're doing right now, I think Matt Ryan will probably be my option. For
that was going to be mine, yeah.
Because they're 4-8. And they're not doing very good, but I think Matt Ryan is still considered like slightly in tier 1. He's just falling out of it, I think, because of the season. But I think he's grown to be overrated because of the fact that they are losing now and they haven't been winning since that Super Bowl loss. That was probably scarring to them because when you give up you give up that big of a lead, that might stick with you.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, but I'll go with Matt Ryan. But WWE. Finn Balor, man. I've always thought he's fantastic. I think he should be at the top of the WWE one day, and it doesn't look like they're ever going to do it. But I think with a little heel turn maybe and like a change of brand, I think he can be at the top of the company, but it's not going to happen. But yeah, I'm going to go with Finn Balor. What about you? We'll start off with NBA here.
NBA, most underrated player. I was going to use Chris Middleton, but since we have the same NFL answer, and I won't be able to think of anyone else for the NFL, I'll go with a different player in the NBA, and I'm going to say Boban Marjanovic, baby. There's no other answer. There's no other Listen, most efficient player of all time. I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
Okay. You scared me.
But on the real Reggie Jackson.
He is underrated, man.
It's Reggie
Boban.
Jackson.
Reggie Jackson?
That's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke.
Okay. What?
I'm going Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton?
For the NFL, obviously, I said Matt Ryan.
Yeah, WWE.
WWE, easily Antonio Cesaro. Cesaro he's a main event talent. He's excellent in the ring, terrible on the mic.
Yeah.
He knows like 8,000 different languages.
That's all right.
But yeah, I'm going to go with Cesaro.
That's fair. But yeah, let us know what you guys think.
Kingston. Kofi Kingston is also underrated. And the entire New Day in general. Yeah, let us know what you think, guys.
Yeah, they all are. Let us know. Like I said like 4 times already, keep sending in topics or criticism or anything.
Just keep commenting and keep sharing and just,
Yeah, just keep making fun of how I keep stuttering over my words too. I really like that.
I just say dumb things sometimes as well. So
it's just 2 guys in front of a mic, man. That's all. Like we said 100 times.
It's just me, Shawn Michaels, and Tony Militello,
Hulk Hogan,
Marty Jannetty.
Hulk Hogan.
You're Marty Jannetty, dude. Stop.
No, I am the GOAT. We're both great.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Episode 3 will be coming probably Friday, but don't quote me on that. This one will be out on Wednesday. It's Hell's Gate Podcast and everything. So
except for Twitter and Snapchat, which is Hell's Gate PC.
So yeah.
What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? What do you want to hear us talk about? If you want to hear us diversify a little bit, talk about some tennis, maybe some ping pong.
Yeah, we can talk about whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods. We can talk about anything, man.
Whatever you want to hear.
And we'll make it sound good because that's what we do.
The biggest feedback that I personally want right now is the episode length.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want us to shorten it and make more concise episodes? Do you want us to split it up into a wrestling episode? Monday, Wednesday, Friday we'll do NFL. Monday, on Wednesday we'll do NBA, and then on Friday we'll do wrestling, or what? Like
whatever you want.
What do you want?
Just please actually give us some input because we've been struggling with like that type of thing. So just please let us know what you think. Any criticism is good criticism. Any comment is a good comment. So just let us know.
Unless you say that Kevin Garnett is better than Dirk Nowitzki, then I can't respect you.
Yeah, then just stop watching it.
No, just keep watching. Just know that I hate you.
Okay, yeah, pretty much.
And I still want you to listen because I secretly love you, but I also hate you.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, I just want to thank everybody again for the views that we got on our first episode and our intro episode.
It's been a day, less than a day, and we're already over 120. So thank you so much.
We're really proud of that. We thank you guys so much for that. Just keep the likes coming, keep the views coming, tell your friends, get our views up. Like I said, we'll be on YouTube very soon here. We were just having some technical difficulties. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff for you guys, and we appreciate you guys sticking with us and keep sticking with us because we're going to try our best to make your lives great with our amazing podcast.
And the more, the more support we get, the more content we can make.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, imagine if we could do this full time one day.
Oh, man.
Like, that would be incredible.
We could go on from the start of the day to the end of the day, 24-hour podcast. We might do that one day.
Honestly,
we'll see.
I'm down.
Okay.
It had to be live, though, because we couldn't.
Yeah,
that would be way too much file size. That'd be way too big.
No, yeah.
So, yeah, please let us know. Keep us in the loop. We'll keep you in the loop on your latest sports news and our opinions.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. Tune in next time. Thank you.
Hell's Gate Podcast.
Hell's Gate.
Greatest
PC,
in the world, baby. Best in the world.
Appreciate it. Thank you.